a live copyrighted presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for RadioLawTalk.com with your host, Frederick Penny, attorney at law. And now, RadioLawTalk.com.
Thank you to our veterans out there. Happy Veterans Day. What a wonderful day to celebrate the people who have given their lives and their time and their energy to support us and our freedoms. My name is Frederick Penny. This is Radio Law Talk, RadioLawTalk.com with my hosts. I got Chris Rodriguez on the left, the Harvard boy. And we've got to our right, the most important one, Denise Dirks, and Todd Cunin, the one that is the least important.
Absolutely.
And we have Cal Hunter behind the glass. He is the 3-time Emmy Award nominee, but never won. Producing our show and our call screener is the famous Seth Madden. Thank you for being here, those of you who are joining us. We are so happy to have the Nevada Talk Network joining us for the first time here. KNNR Reno, 1400 AM, KNNT Battle Mountain, 98.5. KELY Ely, Nevada, 1230 AM, and KAVB Hawthorne, 98.7 FM, and KPKK. How do you say that, Cal? Amargosa Valley.
Amargosa Valley. Yes,
yeah, 101.1 FM. Yeah. Welcome, people of Nevada, to the greatest, funnest, most informative talk show on the radio right now. And that is Radio Law Talk. It's a bunch of lawyers. We are a bunch of lawyers that have fun. We all have different personalities, and we talk about the law. And it's actually the latest things that are happening, the latest trends in the law, and how it applies to your life. Now, we always have to throw out the disclaimers. As lawyers, we're very smart in knowing that we have to throw disclaimers out. Please go to our website at www.radiolawtalk.com and read the disclaimers. There's only about 20 pages of small print to read. So I know everyone's dropping everything they're doing now, don't you think, Denise? And they're running to their computer and reading all those disclaimers. Just like they read the warnings on all the, every little product, there's a warning that protects them from the lawyers like us. But let me introduce the lawyers here. What we do here is, my name is Frederick Penny. I'm a personal injury lawyer out of California. I'm barred in California. I'm barred in Washington, D.C. We do have a barred...
As opposed to barred from.
Barred, okay.
Which is where Todd is barred from.
Yes, interestingly enough, all of those same...
Yeah, so you can see we rarely get through a subject without someone breaking in and telling something off the wall. But anyway, what we've got is, we talk personal injury, any personal injury case. To my left is Todd Cunin, a former prosecutor for the district attorney's office for years, from Tennessee, from California. And he has his own practice doing criminal law, and he's an actor, and he is a host for baseball. You are actually the commentator on a baseball team.
I do the baseball announcing for the Marysville Gold Sox up in the summer, up in Marysville.
And late at night, when he needs to talk to people about sleeping at night, go ahead. He's got his late night
the late night.
Voice.
I could do the Johnny Depp's ex-managers have filed a foreclosure action, and if this voice doesn't get you to fall asleep, nothing will. Let's count sheep. 1, 2.
And the worst part about it is, he's single, so any of you ladies out there, we always try to set him up, and he's got 3 cats that sleep on his bed. That's the problem. And so if you ever want to follow his Twitter account or his Instagram or his Facebook, become his friends, because you'll see cats laying on the bed. The most important thing, though, Denise, you notice is what about the bed? It's not made.
It's not made.
Yeah.
It looks like the cats are like tearing it up.
You know what? That's my excuse, and I'm sticking by it.
Isn't the goal here to attract listeners? And we're talking about pictures of his unmade bed. I can't think of anything less appealing to have out there on the internet.
How quickly we've devolved into a discussion of, it started out with hey, let's meet you, to let's talk about Todd's bed-making habits.
Well, let's talk about everybody else. We've got, to my right, the most important person is Denise Dirks. Denise Dirks is one of the top family law lawyers, in my opinion, in California. She is the cats meow, and she keeps the three of us boys.
No
pun intended.
No pun intended there.
She keeps the three of us boys in check. She is great. She knows the law when it comes to anything to do family law matters. And then we got Chris Rodriguez, the Harvard Prince, and he is a big-time lawyer. He's a trial lawyer. He does employment law, corporate law, business law, and he's a general civil practice lawyer. He also lives in a very rural part of town, and he has taken things before when he was young and put them in the back of trunks and driven away.
Go to the website. You can listen to the story. It's not as bad as it sounds.
Yeah, so if you want to go to our website, and we do have the podcasts from our shows in the past, and we're working on the website. It's actually done, and you'll be able to see what the actual discussions are in each podcast. It'll be listed. We're still working on that. I mean, some of the big topics we talked about is marijuana laws and how it applies in each states. But whatever's the latest topics we're going to talk about here on Radio Law Talk. But here we go. Here goes the disclaimers. Hold on, everybody. This is the exciting part. Wake up. This is the disclaimer. We're talking about general law. If you need advice about any legal issues, seek local counsel. We are mostly barred in California and in D.C. However, I have partners throughout the United States. I have a national law firm in 48 states. And at times, we're not going to do it this week in Nevada. If you have a question, if we can generally answer it, we will discuss it. We will pull in our Nevada lawyers. They come in on the phone. Or we've got lawyers in Texas or in Minneapolis and all over the place. So remember that. What else do we got to talk about? We have a thing called Case or No Case. This is the fun part. What happens is our producer, Cal Hunter, those of you who are first joining us, and by the way, you can tweet in what you think about the case or no case. He's going to present a case to all of us lawyers. We have raised our arms to the square and promised that we do not know anything about the case. He has not divulged anything. He keeps them secret. I think they're sealed.
They're hermetically sealed.
Hermetically sealed, whatever that means.
I don't know what it means, but that's how they're sealed.
They're sealed hermetically in his producer's office over there, which, by the way, we can see him only through the glass. But you know what? He brings up the facts and the issues. And we have to determine whether or not, number one, is a real case, and number two, if it's a real case, what the verdict is, and we vote on it and see if we're right or wrong. And they're usually interesting cases. And you can tweet in your vote also at Radio Law Talk.
Right, or you can call us at 855-LAW-RADIO. 855-529-7234. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, let me tell you something funny. So I called my daughter. My daughter's at college, and she was talking to me about coming to visit her on a Saturday. And I said, dear, the problem is, she goes, what's this radio? I'm tired of this radio show. Because we started this, what? Cal, was it March we started?
Yep. February. Yep. I thought February.
February or March, right? And so every Saturday, the four of us sacrifice our time and our love of our families and the cats over here to the left and show up and help you figure out the law.
I'm a giver, Fred. I'm a giver, okay?
And we talk about the law. We do that sacrifice. And my daughter said this, and this is a quote, my 20-year-old daughter. Yeah, I listened to it. It was kind of boring, Dad. Oh, my gosh. And then I said to myself, are we doing the wrong thing here? And then she said to me, but it's just boring. And then I started mentioning other talk show hosts.
Right.
And she said, who? And then I mentioned one. She goes, I listened to him. He's boring, too. Then I realized our demographics, Cal. We're trying to figure out demographics, not the 20-year-olds.
If a 20-year-old non-law student finds it boring, I'd say, we're spot on.
We're spot on. That's exactly right.
But that kind of ticks me off. Did she listen to last week's show? We had a delivery driver from Grubhub that we dragged in here.
Yeah.
And we deposed him. We basically made him shiver in his boots.
Right.
And it was great radio. Fred ate a full pizza.
I did not. I ate only two.
It was phenomenal.
Slices.
It was phenomenal radio.
Those of you who don't know, I've been on a diet since March, and I'm off my diet, and oh my gosh, am I famished. So anyway, we're going to be back with the next segment talking about a lot of things. We're going to talk about Johnny Depp, Alabama Walmart trip and fall, about apps, veterans, Las Vegas shooting, and driverless shuttles. Get in an accident. We'll be right back.
You're listening to RadioLawTalk.com. And now back to your host, Frederick Penny.
You want to call in, call 855-LAW-RADIO. If you have a question, 855-LAW-RADIO to talk to one of the four panel members here. And you know what? Go ahead.
Hey, Fred, really quickly, Cal, while Fred's talking about this intro, can you find any melodramatic type background music to play when I cue you. Okay?
Find something melodramatic. Oh, my
Something
gosh.
Melodramatic as in like...
Something like something to be played behind narration.
So, like,
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
But it's got to be sad. It's got to be sad. Okay.
Cue something up. Get ready. Well,
I'll find
I
something.
think we're going to talk about Veterans Day. I want to talk about my father briefly. He's a veteran of the Korean War, but I think kind of more important than anything in this country right now, and those of you, again, I'm talking about the new listeners, we don't talk politics. We really don't. That's what's so great here. If you're tired of the politics radio stuff, we do not talk. I mean, politics is naturally part of this, but we don't take a side. We'll argue both sides. We're not here to say we're going to be on the right, the left, or the middle. But the most important thing that we've brought up over the years, probably with this past few weeks, is Love Your Lawyer Day was November 3rd. And I think we brought that up the past few weeks, and I just think we have to bring it up again.
I'm still hurt.
Yeah. Chris, have you received? I don't even mind if I get a late love letter or a late card. I'm okay with a late one.
Let's be real here. Nobody loves lawyers. Nobody will ever love lawyers. We had that last week.
Right.
We are now on Veterans Day. Everybody loves veterans or should love veterans.
Right.
So we've kind of gone from one end of the spectrum
Right.
on holidays to the other end.
Okay.
Maybe the worst holiday, Love Your Lawyer Day. Now we're at Veterans Day. So let's move on.
Okay.
Let's embrace veterans.
Okay. I agree.
I agree.
I was talking with one of my clients, and I mentioned the Love Your Lawyer Day.
Oh.
And
did you bill them for the time you were talking about it?
In a shameless attempt, maybe, that they would go, oh, yeah, I didn't know. I would have sent you something. And it was met with stone cold silence, at which point one of my clients looked at me and said, you have a retainer that we pay, right? Yes. There's our love.
Nice.
Now,
Well, that's a lot of love.
Well, and the
That's a lot of
interesting thing
love.
is that might have also been a family member, i.e. my father, but it's just brutal. Brutal.
I thought you were going to say your lawyer or your client wasn't giving you any love. It just so happened that client was doing 50 to life in San Quentin.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but thank you very much.
But the thing is, it's his father. So it's the family's deal. He's dealing with. Don't forget, he's a criminal law defense lawyer, and he's got his family. I've got you on retainer. What's going on with the family?
Actually,
Todd?
I will say this. I do primarily criminal law, but I have carved out a little public policy niche to help out, but I only do that right now with family members to help out a family business.
Okay. All right.
So it was not criminal related. I don't want to get a call from my dad telling me that it was implied slander or defamation. For him.
It sounded like that. Well, let's talk about my dad was a wonderful man, very tough guy, but what a great veteran he was. He fought in the Korean War. He was a Marine. He was First Marine Division, 3rd Battalion, H Company, and he was one of the original Frozen Chosen in Korea, and he went through some tough times, and he's a decorated vet. He's 2-time Purple Heart winner, and he's passed away. Award, not award. That's not an award. That would be an award. Purple Heart, and passed away about 12 years ago from his wounds, from his war. But thank you to my father and all those veterans. Your father's a veteran, is that correct?
My
Denise?
father was a veteran, yes.
Okay. And your father also was a police officer, correct?
Correct.
And a veteran of which war?
Korea.
Korea. And then Todd?
My father, it was the Korean War. There was the mandatory basic training that everybody had to go through. So he was in the service going through that all of the folks his age had to go through. But he never went over to Korea and saw action.
That's good. But still, he's a veteran. Chris?
My grandfather fought in the Battle of the Bulge.
Okay, there you go.
My father
Fought
he
you.
fought me a few times with a pitchfork in the orchard. Yes, that did happen, but it wasn't. I don't think we could classify that as a war.
Well, he probably wouldn't. All right, let's talk about Johnny Depp. Let's back up. Before we talk about Johnny Depp, let's do a case or no case for, especially, again, the new listeners. Here we go. Tee it up. Case or no case?
Now it's time to play Case or No Case.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for that fabulous part of the Radio Law Talk known as Case or No Case.
No case. Done.
And I take you to the University Village of Chico, California,
Oh, jeez.
where a plaintiff there sued Safeway and the grocery cart vendor Secure Cart, DBA VersaCart, because a cart escaped the electronic boundary hauled away by a homeless person. That homeless person released the cart into the path of his car, striking it. He swerved and struck a utility pole, damaging his car to the point where the airbags deployed, therefore the car was totaled. This happened on a busy thoroughfare. Couldn't sue the homeless guy, so he went after the deeper pockets, Safeway and Secure Cart, or VersaCart, DBA VersaCart. So first question, Chris Rodriguez, case or no case?
This is an easy one.
Okay.
It is a case, absolutely, because, Cal, I don't think you are devious enough to actually make up Secure Cart DBA VersaCart. That is something that you read.
He screwed up.
I mean, if you made that one up, I have to give you props because. But I think that claim seems to make some sense to me. I think that VersaCart and Secure Cart and Safeway had a duty to keep other people safe from these carts. We don't want them running wild on the streets of Chico. I think that it's a good case, and it is a real case.
All right.
And do they collect?
Do they collect?
Very little. But they do.
Well, it's just for the damage to the car.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any personal injury. It's just
Right.
damage to the car. So
Right.
you're saying yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Denise, case or no case? Denise Dirks.
Thank you for clarifying that to the other Denise. that we
Well,
had here.
I want people listening to know. Who
Yes.
Do that. Wait. Say it again. Say your answer. The family law lawyer. The answer is
Okay, I don't know how Chico University fit into all of this.
That's just the home of the
Chico
of
State.
State.
Chico
So-
State.
Okay, so the VersaCart was. I think it's a case because I believe that the reason that they have VersaCart so it doesn't go up beyond electronic boundaries is to protect people from those carts.
Denise is super happy right now. You don't know why? Because we're out of time. We're on to our next segment. We'll be right back after these messages.
Stay tuned. We will have the answer to case or no case, first two more opinions, and then the answer to case or no case, and more. All coming up next, right here on Radio Law Talk. Don't go away. Now, back to all of the lawyers on RadioLawTalk.com. I'm me.
You're all morons.
Fred told me to say it. Fred told me to do it. Now back to the show. Here we go.
Did he just call us morons?
I think he was saying that he was directed by you to call us morons.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was actually Kevin Spacey, but we're having a way better week than him.
All morons.
Yeah.
There you go.
I
There you
wouldn't.
go.
I wouldn't take that too personal. He's having a rough week.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's just lashing out at anyone he can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Well, let's keep going. So, Denise, you
Okay,
said
so
what?
let's review our case or no case very quickly for folks who may have just joined us.
Sure.
We had a parking lot escaped the boundary, hauled away from a grocery store allegedly by a homeless person. Homeless person releases the cart into traffic. A person swerves to avoid the cart, hits a pole, basically totals their car. They can't sue the homeless person, no assets there, so they deep pocket it and go after Safeway and company called Secure Cart, DBA VersaCart.
Well, the answer is yes, they can. Not to interrupt, they can sue the homeless person, but the lawyers are thinking, okay, where's the money?
Where's the
Okay,
money?
There
Right.
you go.
Thanks,
That's right.
Fred.
I thought I'd let you know.
Well, that's why my point was, why would they sue a guy who has
Well,
nothing?
you get a few cans, maybe. I don't know.
And a damaged shopping cart.
Damaged
so,
shopping
Denise, case or
Who
no
knows?
case?
He might be worth billions. You never know. Look at Howard Hughes,
Good
man.
point.
Probably walking around the,
Exactly, it's a trust fund.
Yeah.
I said there was a case. I believe there's going to be damages for the damage to the vehicle, and I believe that they're going to find that VersaCart is more at fault than Safeway.
So the company that devises the system that's supposed to put on the brakes and stop the cart from leaving. All right. So, Fred Penny, you're the guy who specializes in this sort of thing, a case?
You can't say the official word specialized.
Or no case. Well,
yeah, but that's what I do. That's exactly right. So, interesting. Chris had hit it hit it best. I think what he said was that. What did you even say? I don't even remember what you said. It was something intelligent.
You said it best, but I don't remember what it is.
What the heck it was. What did you say? It was something intelligent, but I can't remember. Which is, by the way, very rare for a C-Rod, Mr. Harvard guy. But it was something very intelligent. I can't remember. What was it?
I basically said I looked into Cal's eyes.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, and I could tell he was telling the truth.
Yeah, that was the obvious thing, that Cal was the way you laid it out was too factual and too intelligent.
Okay, but based on the merits of
so that's a case. The issue is negligence, duty, breach, damages. Did they owe duty? There's a premises liability law in all states. All of them are very similar, where they have to, if a dangerous condition exists, they knew or should have known about. Did Safeway know that this cart was having problems? Maybe Safeway knew they're having problems with the electronic issues of the carts running away or going, and so the facts we don't know, but let's assume they didn't, then VersaCart's going to be liable. Damages are so small. As a lawyer, I would never take that case because it cost me about $10,000 just to open a file. And so, case, yes. Are they going to win? I'd say yes. The damages, low.
So would all of you who said it is a case...
I haven't said anything.
Todd Kunin. I thought, that's right. You haven't.
I have just been over here blending with the woodwork.
You've just been offering pithy comments on the others.
Yes, yes, I have been offering pithy comments.
Okay, so
that's the way I operate.
Case or no case?
Okay, so I would say, first of all, Fred stole my thunder because you can sue the homeless guy. You're just not going to get anything. So
that's exactly right.
It's a can you, yes, would you, no.
Can you? Is that a...
Yes.
But pun?
But sure. So what I would say here now, remind me: are they suing the company that installed the device to keep the cart from going away, or are they suing the supermarket chain?
Well, I think
Both.
if I understand the case, and I don't have much information on this,
because he made it up, Todd.
If I understand the case, they went after the VersaCart and Secure Cart company first, but also went after Safeway secondarily because VersaCart was giving them grief, and they thought maybe they can get their deductible out of Safeway.
Okay, so I think they have a better case against Safeway than VersaCart because VersaCart is going to argue that the purpose for VersaCart is not to keep the carts from going away. VersaCart is a theft prevention device.
True.
And typically those brakes pop on if you have items in the cart that have not been paid for and you go out of the front doors, your cart wheels lock up. That's happened to me when kids have put things into the shopping cart to let you know this cart can't leave because there's stuff you haven't paid for. So
that was your story, right?
So that's and I'm sticking by it. Yeah. But VersaCart's going to say we are not designed to protect carts from going over. This is a theft prevention device to keep the items that are in the cart from not being paid for at the store. So that's not why we installed this. That's not a danger that we are protecting against. They could also make the argument that the homeless person viewed carts as an endangered species, and so he was trying to release the carts into the wild as a benevolent gesture. I don't think that's going to fly.
Cart.
The case, they could probably file against...
That's Burning Man people, I thought.
That's right. They could probably file against both the device company and the supermarket. I doubt they'll collect against the device company. They may collect against the supermarket for the reasons that Fred has talked about with negligence, but I don't think they get a whole lot.
See, I think the VersaCart has another purpose, and that's to keep theft of the cart itself from happening. And so it won't go beyond a certain electronic field, if you will, that's in the parking lot.
I agree with that, but typically the electronic field that gets activated is within the store. It's not allowed to leave the doors of the store if there are items in the cart that have not been paid for. And clearly all shopping carts allow you to take it to your car. So they're going to argue that the purpose is that the prevention device is actually to keep the cart from leaving the store.
Well, here, I got a question on that.
Sure.
Do they have those devices also on newspaper stands? Because I'm worried about Chris Rodriguez.
We're going to break.
See, everybody's out there going, why are they laughing about that? We have stories about Chris Rodriguez as a teenager.
You got to listen to the judge's recall when we did that topic.
Oh, my gosh. Rodriguez tries to steal when he was a teenager, a newspaper.
Back when he was a young boy.
Yeah. Puts it in the back of the trunk of his car and drives away, and the cops pull him over. What's that newspaper box sitting in the back of your trunk?
Am I the only one who wants to know the answer to case or no case?
No. I just wanted to get a spiff on you.
I need to clarify.
Uh-oh.
that these systems are actually boundaries of the parking lot, and they are
Exactly.
designed to keep the carts from leaving the parking lot. They may have another system for inside the store, I don't know. But this system we're talking about actually is like electronic dog collar, where the dog
Yeah.
hits it and this
Okay,
just puts
now
it
I
in
know
the
why
brake.
my daughter says we're so boring.
Yeah.
Move on. What is it, Cal?
So case or no case? Yes or no?
We all said yes.
Who said no? Nobody said no?
We all said yes.
Okay, here's the answer, ladies and gentlemen, to it. Completely made up.
What?
It is a complete
Oh my gosh, Cal! You nailed us.
I looked up a couple of names of grocery cart manufacturers and just it's completely made up.
Oh my gosh.
Now it may be a case, I don't know, but whole cloth, just made out of whole cloth.
That is why he is often nominated.
but never
awarded.
It wasn't that good,
The
but it
Emmy.
was pretty darn good.
Let me just say something. The big concern I have right now is the Chris Rodriguez, I can look into your eyes and tell you if you're lying, polygraph test that clearly failed. That's why polygraph tests are not admissible in court.
He's going to show up Monday to work, and they're going to go, "You're fired." What happened? You couldn't figure out Cal? How are you going to be able to figure out a jury or a cross-examine someone in a deposition, counsel?
Have you ever heard Cal say anything like
Intelligent?
DBA? I mean, give me a break. The guy comes out with a fake DBA. How are you not going to get duped by that?
Well, I did Google the names. The names are legitimate grocery cart people.
Hey, listen, it's getting so bad in here. Will you turn the air conditioner on?
Right.
Seth, seriously, go turn the air conditioner
But
on.
I picked the
It's getting
top
hot in
two
here.
guys. These aren't actually linked together in any way. I just used one name.
We
and
lost.
did
Cal nailed us on that. All right, we're going to move on. Let's talk about Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp. Hey, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. At least us as lawyers love to talk about Johnny Depp.
Johnny
and
Depp
the
has
lawsuits.
He has won an Emmy, hasn't he, or an Oscar?
Maybe. I'm sure he
I believe
has.
He's
Yeah.
won an Oscar.
What is it? $650 million or $750 million so far he's made in movies. Is that right?
$650 million that he has made from his film career as of the filing of this lawsuit is what they're alleging. And that was actually alleged, I believe, by the defendants, TMG, to try to show how reckless he was in his spending, that he doesn't have any money left over after all this money.
Right. Okay. So here Denise is going to give us a brief overview because we have talked about this in the past, the Johnny Depp lawsuits. Those of you who are just joining us, we want to make sure you're caught up to date. So give us a brief overview. There's like 3 separate cases going, or lawsuits that occurred, and cross complaints, and et cetera, et cetera. How did it start?
Well,
Denise?
it started with Johnny Depp suing his management company. The Mandel brothers have a management company. It's called the Management Group. And the Mandel brothers are both business managers, but they're also attorneys. And it was alleged that the relationship was verbal. And it's been a 17-year relationship. And we're going to have to hear more about that after our break. I wanted to say you guys should watch us on YouTube, and you can see what we're talking about if you watch us on YouTube with Chris Rodriguez and all the disclosures that he made about his childhood. And please tweet us at Radio Law Talk or call us at 855 Law Radio.
What's the actual number, Denise?
It's 855-529-7234.
We'll be right back to talk more about Johnny Depp lawsuit.
Go to the website, radiolawtalk.com. You can listen to the show there, and there's a lot of other good information, too. That's radiolawtalk.com.
Welcome back. We're talking to the 4 lawyers here: Chris, Denise, Fred, myself, I'm Fred, and Todd, about Johnny Depp and about his lawsuit. So continue.
Okay, so Johnny Depp first sued the management company, or the management group, and the Mandel brothers in particular. And then Mandel and the management groups countersued against Depp, saying that he had outrageous spending habits and really slammed him a lot in the press. Johnny then did another complaint that included the same group, but added on different lawyers that were also involved. And
Said the lawyers were
the lawyers were
inappropriately acting on his behalf.
Yeah, they actually were self-dealing, and they had involved in conflict of interest, and that they did not have the requisite contracts to get contingency fee arrangements with him, and on and on.
It was an oral contract. They're saying, which is supposed to be be in writing.
That's
type
right.
of
So here we have the Mandel brothers, who are attorneys, starting a relationship 17 years ago with Johnny Depp, making millions and millions. I think it was $25 million off of him, and it's not in writing.
Right.
I mean, just not in writing. And on top of that, the Mandel brothers kind of enmeshed themselves into different entities that Depp owns. Like Depp is a trustor of this trust, and one of the Mandel brothers was the trustee. And the Mandel brothers executed all these deeds that secured a loan that they had paid off for Johnny Depp with a bank, and secured their loan against 5 of his properties. And by doing that with deed of trust, they initially tried to do it without any judicial involvement. They were trying to do a non-judicial deed of trust.
So it's almost like he's arguing they're self-dealing. I mean, the left and the right hand are doing the same thing, where there should be separate. There should
Exactly.
There should be separate parties, or a separate law firm or lawyers looking after different things.
Right, and these lawyers that are also acting as business managers have breached the fiduciary duties to him.
That's what their argument is.
Yeah, by failing to properly disclose the transactions, by not giving informed written consent, which is critical, because when you look at the actual agreements between Johnny Depp and the management group, they're trying to get him to waive conflicts of interest without describing in any detail what those potential conflicts of interest are. So I personally don't think their informed written consent was adequate, because it doesn't even say that he has a right to go see and have this reviewed by an attorney.
And by the way, we're looking at the actual complaints. This is not
Right now, just to clarify, Denise, you're looking at the recent filing by TMG for the judicial foreclosure.
TMG's
right?
who? Again, that's the management
The
group.
management group, the Mandel group, or the management group.
The Mandel
but
company
it's the
doing
management.
business as the management group.
And the document that you were reading from when you were talking about how they're getting him to try to waive certain things, that's from the foreclosure document that was recently filed by TMG against Depp. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that was filed when? When does it show it was filed?
This was filed November 6th, 2017.
Just a couple days
Okay,
ago.
so they just filed that. Now they're foreclosing on 5 of his properties in California, of his homes
Right.
in California.
Well, because the transactions are really relevant to the other cases that have been filed, and they're basically claiming self-dealing and all of these conflicts of interest in these transactions, they now can't do a non-judicial deed of trust foreclosure. They now have to file and get a judicial deed of trust foreclosure.
Okay, here's the important part. Get ready, Cal, to key up Todd's music. Now, this is the important thing we have to note about these complaints. In a complaint, usually you lay the facts out.
Allegations.
The facts out according to your side of the story.
Right.
And this is according to TMG / his lawyer's side. Okay, here we go.
We now bring you dramatic readings of TMG's foreclosure complaint against Johnny Depp. For 30 years, brothers Joel and Robert Mandel and their company, TMG, have been trusted business managers to some of the most successful individuals and companies in the entertainment business. Starting in 1999, TMG represented actor Depp and did everything possible to protect Depp from his own irresponsible and profligate spending. TMG repeatedly warned and advised Depp to reduce his spending and sell unnecessary assets, but ultimately the decision whether and how to spend his money was a decision for Depp to make. Depp listened to no one, including TMG and his other advisors, and he demanded that they fund a lifestyle that was extravagant and extreme. This came to a head in December 2012, when Depp was about to default on a multi-million-dollar loan, which would have caused a devastating financial public crisis.
Oh my gosh.
The company demanded payment on a $5 million loan, but Depp did not have the funds to repay, which was the direct result of Depp's refusal to curb his profligate spending.
Ooh.
This has been a dramatic reading of the complaint.
Thank you, Todd Cunin, a dramatic reading of the complaint that actually talks about Johnny Depp and how spoiled they're claiming he is.
I have a reaction to that. It has nothing to do with the law. Your voice is so good. What kind of decisions have you made in life to have a voice like that and yet be sitting in a room with the three of us?
Well, let's back up the two of us. Denise has done something with her
I
life.
guess, but my goodness, that is you have a phenomenal set of pipes.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know, the thing I see about this here is that recently, in the other, I guess, 3 cases, we've got a complaint against one, a cross complaint, and then a new complaint that Depp filed. In all of that, there was an interesting ruling by the court in those 3 cases that Depp's spending was not relevant and not admissible in those cases. And after that ruling comes out by the court, we have this complaint for judicial foreclosure of deed of trusts where maybe his spending is relevant in that case. So it's sort of a backdoor way that you can expect that maybe at some point in time, because they're all really close, they're going to seek joinder to get all the cases together.
Right.
And now they've been able to backdoor the issue of his spending into the case again to counter the ruling by the judge that would keep it out.
That's the whole argument that they're trying to make. Not the whole, but a large part of the argument that TMG and the lawyers are trying to make, that this guy is a spender and it's his own volition and will to screw his life up and lose all this money, and it wasn't ours. We just took $30 million, by the way.
And we didn't have him sign for it.
We took $30 million in fees. Dang lawyers. And you're listening to us thinking, we're lawyers, we're ripping on lawyers. We do rip on lawyers, by the way. We do rip on lawyers because we are lawyers.
The law rips on lawyers in a way, because if we draft documents and enter into agreements with people, there's a presumption of undue influence automatically, because we are held to a higher standard than your average business person. And in this particular case, TMG, they actually prepared the documents. They executed the deed of trusts, and they put in the conflict of interest waiver language, and they executed the promissory notes as well. And if he defaulted on this, if Depp had defaulted on this this arrangement, he would automatically no longer be a client of TMG. That's one of the terms of this agreement.
Wow.
And in the other contract, or the other complaint brought by TMG against Johnny Depp, they complained that without any notice to them, he fired them.
Wow.
And in
Interesting.
actuality, there's a very big, huge conflict of
interest.
factual
Right.
dispute there.
Well, here's a quote. Here's a quote from Depp's now attorney that he's got now. Said, the actor would not sell his homes and called the action of foreclosing on his homes an effort to intimidate Depp into dropping his lawsuit, because his lawsuit was for $25 million, which, interesting enough to me, is really, I know it sounds like a lot of money. $25 million doesn't sound like very much. I mean, given the fact how much money this guy makes and pulls in, and the amount of fight. Just think of the lawyer's fee. Think of how many lawyers are on this and have been fighting this, and the fees. I guarantee these aren't $150 an hour lawyers. These are $600 an hour. These are the Rodriguez-style lawyers.
At least.
These are high-end, top-notch lawyers.
And let's look at this here, just this thinking outside the box of what we're talking about. So they want to foreclose on 5 homes to pay off a $5 million note. Now, my guess is Johnny Depp isn't living in a home like we know that's $100,000, $200,000. 5 homes of Johnny Depp styles homes are worth a heck of a lot more than $5 million. So
Probably
to get
$14 million
each.
But
So
how much equity does he have in them? If they're all mortgaged to the hilt, then they may not have more than $5 million.
They're seeking a windfall, but we're going to have to get back to this, or actually address a different topic.
Well, we'd like to hear from
Yes.
you at radiolawtalk.com, or give us a call at 855-LAW-RADIO.
This is
Stay
Frederick.
with us.
Frederick Penny. We'll be right back.
You have been listening to RadioLawTalk.com, a copyrighted presentation of Radio Law Talk Incorporated.